I'm going to share with you how I fixed my sleep. I had got into a terrible habit of falling asleep in front of the television in the evening and just slumping into a not very good sleep. And then when I did go to bed, I didn't get high quality sleep. And over time, that has terrible, terrible consequences. We now know that poor quality sleep is linked to a ton of chronic illnesses and dementia. So, seriously, sleep is an essential pillar of wellness. And this is one of the hacks that made the most difference to my sleep. Firstly, I started properly tracking what was going on with my sleep, so I could see how bad it was. Terrible sleep cycles, not enough deep sleep, not enough REM sleep, so not restorative, waking up feeling tired before I even got started in the day. Once you see that, then you can start fixing it. And then the other thing that I did that made a major difference is that I started paying attention to daylight exposure, because the cells at the back of our eye are not just responsible for sending information to the occipital lobe at the back of the brain where the visual cortex is, right? Some of those cells are wired there, but some cells are also wired to neurons in a different part of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nuclei that are responsible for regulating the release of melatonin, which is one of our essential chemicals involved in sleep. In the morning, because we are ancient creatures that grew up in the great outdoors for many, many, many millions of years, our brain needs daylight so that it knows when it's morning, because then it can figure out when it's evening and it knows the right time to release a sleep chemical. So in the morning, this is the thing that made a big difference. I started going outside early in the morning. When my coffee was brewing, I would step outside, just go out for a few minutes in the natural daylight. Does not work if you're indoors. Even if you're standing inside a window and it's bright light coming in, it's not enough because the glass filters the power of the sun. And in my book and in the program, you'll see I actually show the lux meter readings of the difference in the power of light when you're inside the window and outside the window. It's massive. Our brain needs natural light. So in the morning, as early as you can, go outside for a few minutes while your kettle's boiling and get that natural daylight exposure. Don't look directly at the sun because that is dangerous, as we know. Just go out, get natural daylight. Then in the evening, don't mess it up, because early light has blue light in that spectrum, whereas the evening light, as it goes towards sunset, the light changes. There's less blue light in that daylight. There's more red light, and light bulbs and screens emit blue light. So you're telling your brain at night that it's the morning. So if you have to use screens, use these blue light blocker glasses. Don't have bright overhead lights. Use dimmer switches, low-level table lamps. You haven't got a bright blue light from above that your brain is going, is that the sun? I thought it was the evening, right? You're confusing our ancient circadian system. So remember, our sleep circuits operate using daylight as a timer, natural daylight. So early daylight exposure as early as you can, even if you're still in your pajamas, and then don't mess it up at night by exposing yourself to bright overhead lights and screens. And that is how I fixed my sleep.